Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. You're around the shoots, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast, a production of TSC Entertainment. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Hey everyone, welcome to Texas Toast. I'm Miss Helen, and this week we're bringing you a really special guest, and I can't wait to dig in because she's done so many things. Her voice is powerful, her talent is amazing, and so everyone, we're so happy to welcome Suzanne Santo to the Texas Toast podcast. Hello and welcome to Texas.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah,
so
it feels right on the nose.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of do like a little icebreaker just to kind of loosen things up a little bit. So I have some little quick questions to ask you. And like, as a musician, this is probably like the dumbest thing I could ask, but morning or night person?
Morning.
Beach or mountains?
Oh man, can it be mountains at the beach?
I like that. We're gonna go with that one.
Okay.
Pickup truck or sports car?
Pickup truck.
Okay. And if you could have an endless supply of any food, what would you choose?
Oh crap. Oh, this is hard. Okay.
It is hard.
Mashed potatoes. Does it have to be like one thing, or can it be like a meal?
Well, mashed potatoes. What else would you have with your mashed potatoes?
Delicious rotisserie chicken. I'm simple like that.
I love it.
And I have some gluten intolerances, so I can't say pasta or pizza like I used to.
Right.
I've learned a thing or two.
And if you were an animal, what would you be and why?
Oh, I would be a hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, red-tailed hawk.
See, I'm real close to you because I would be a duck because you get the best of both worlds. You get to fly and then dive in and go under the water. Okay, and we do have a question from that came in on Twitter from Lily Skisser on Twitter. She wants to know when Suzanne will start touring again and when she can count on her coming back to Europe. And she also wants to know what your favorite flower is.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Well, thanks for the support. I don't know when I'm going to make it back to Europe, all things considered, but hopefully sooner than later. I'm doing some light touring here in the States in the fall that I'm really excited about. Got some dates with this artist, Jade Bird, and I've known Jade a long time, and just kind of popping around, doing some fun stuff. But what my favorite flower as of late has been lilies. Mm-hmm. And they're just, they're so fragrant and they last a while if you clip them. And it just makes me feel like my house is a spa. So whenever I pick up some lilies, you really get a bang for your buck too, because they last a while. Mm-hmm. So and that's my favorite flower.
They're so pretty.
They're so pretty.
Yes. So you have quite a story. Of course, you were one half of the duo Honey Honey. You've been a model. You've been an actress. So let's kind of talk about all the stuff you've done all over the world.
Oh God. I've lived, I feel like I've lived a lot of lives in one life, and I always want more, but if it, ended here, I'd be really grateful for what I have. Mm-hmm. So, I have always been in the performing elements of arts, like doing musical theater as a kid and stuff like that, and picking up instruments in school and learning the violin. And, I got into acting when I was in New York City, and I studied with some great teachers, and it turned out I had a knack for it. And, but it's a different game. It's a really, I did for a while have the stomach for it, but then when music just kept calling and I kept answering, and it was very clear that there was something there that I needed to address and pay attention to, just for my, my purpose, I guess, acting seemed a little less pertinent. And I still love it whenever I get the chance to be a part of any kind of production, or I'm thrilled. But the brutal cycle of auditioning and all that, like that's long gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Much more peaceful and soulful with music.
Sure. And I get to create my own stuff. You know, it's a little
Right.
different when you're acting, but it was a really in my, I think I was 19 or 20 when it was like hitting me upside the head that like music is, you know, what I should be focusing on.
And
So
you've really been in the music business a long time, and you've currently you just kind of pulled up anchor and went to Austin.
I did. Yeah. That's another weird one. You know, I'm not really sure who God is spiritually. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of questions, but I know there's something, and whatever it was just shoving me out the door to come to Austin. And all these, I had no intention of moving to Texas, and then all these things started lining up, and I was like, I think I'm supposed to go to Texas. And I made a decision really quickly, and then I didn't even have to look for a house. Like a friend of a friend was moving out of this house, and I just got it before I even saw it. I signed a lease, and turned out to be a place that I've always wanted to live. Like I could never afford to live like this in LA. So I have this little 3-bedroom house that's mine, and you know, with me and my kitties, and it's just like a dream to me. I love it. So I don't know why I moved to Texas, but I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's just been like unfolding in this way that I didn't know that life could be like that. I didn't know it could be this nice.
Had you been around the Austin music scene before you
You
made that
know,
move?
like briefly in the like touring and festival sense, but the everyday, like just the regular music that's being played any given night of the week, and it's very different from Nashville in my opinion, in that it's just like you have all these stalwarts, you have local musicians that are so good that I am thrilled to go see them anytime I can get out. And it's very communal, community driven, and you know, I think there's a lot of space in Los Angeles, and not necessarily the I don't want to say the right attitude because I don't want to poo-poo LA, but it's just, I've never seen this much camaraderie. A little bit in Nashville for sure, but just the way that folks show up for each other and want to, you know, collaborate, and
That's it.
it's just, it's great. And I'm so excited to be a part of it.
And that's why I have such a passion for our Texas music artists and Texas music, and have for so many years, since back in the mid to late 90s, because you're going to find it is a very supportive community, lots of
Mhm.
cooperation, and so much talent. And
Mm.
it's just, you're going to fit
Yeah.
right in. Well,
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
talk
thank you.
about, you have a new upcoming album release. Yard Sale is your
Mhm.
sophomore solo album, follows the release of your 2017 debut, which was Ruby Red. There's something that I really like that I have in the notes here, describing your album Yard Sale. It's both a nod to your Midwest upbringing in the Rust Belt, and this is my favorite part, as well as the life purge that you went through to make this album. Life purge just hit me. It's like,
Mm.
I love that terminology. Sometimes we have to have a life purge.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, you kind of can get stuck on a loop sometimes, and you don't realize you're on the loop until you realize it. And there's clutter, and
Yes, yes.
um, you know, I'm not a hoarder, so I find that great relief from, you know, lightening my load, and when I need to, even like just on the physical front of my home, and just things I don't need that are piling up, you know, I feel like that emotionally too. And I'm a I'm grateful to have that kind of self-awareness, and you know, hell of a therapist
Uh-huh,
to
uh-huh.
find those things and name them, and then know where to put them or drop them off, you know.
So tell us about the making of the album Yard Sale, because I know you were in different places writing songs on a
Yeah.
bus, or you were overseas. So how
Mhm.
many years or how long did it take to put this project together?
I mean, it's pretty nuts because I had fully intended on releasing it last year, and then COVID hit. And as it turned out, there were more songs that needed to be added and some songs that needed to be taken out. So there was a, you know, a silver lining in that for me. And I I did. I started writing it when I was on tour playing with Hozier. And it was a world tour that was just like nonstop. I played with him for nearly a year, and I'd been home for 50 days that whole
Mhm.
time at,
Mhm.
at my own home. So it was a lot of movement. And I realized that, whereas I might have been precious with writing in the past, where it's like, I need to be alone in my house and no one's around. And, I had to just, I had to get thicker skin with it and make music in all these different places where I really appreciated the exercise,
Mhm.
because I didn't know, I realized I was capable of more than I had in my limited thinking of
Mhm.
how I do things. So, the fact that it's coming out next month is like kind of blowing my mind, because it's just taken so long. And because I had a finished version in 2019,
Mhm.
in the late summer. And then, I'm just going with the flow of the world here. But I am so excited to put this thing out. But I've been with it for so long that I have a hard time seeing it. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I know it's beautiful music and I'm really proud of it. And I
Mhm.
hope that people embrace it and enjoy it. But like, I honestly have no idea like what to expect.
Well, just the tracks that I listen to, I think lyrically it does make you step back and kind of examine things. And I like how,
Mm,
it's you had in a broad sense, you want people to find their own meaning in the songs. And I did. I mean, and I think I could see there's
great. Thank
different meanings.
you.
Like when I went and listened, Save for Love, and you have
Mhm.
such a pure sound and everything's so soulful. So maybe let's talk about Save for Love a little bit.
Sure. Great. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me. You know, I I'm trying to figure out the best way to talk about music and my songs without feeling like I'm being invasive for the listener, because I want you to have your relationship with it, just like I do with the music that I like to listen to. And sometimes when the artist is like, well, this is when I was going through a breakup, and then you're going to think about, you
Yes.
know, but I try to get like a blanket, statement, so I just keep it fresh for everybody.
Yes, and I read through that as I was listening to your music, and like I said, so many different ways you can take it, and it's like it's got individuality for each person individually
Hmm.
can get a message. Also, you got Common Sense on there and Bad Beasts, which are awesome as well.
Thank you. Well, that's one of the reasons why I called it Yard Sale, is because I feel like there's something for everybody on this record. And it really is a hodgepodge of emotions. And much like you would go to a yard sale, and there's just like this menagerie and variety of things, from, a cat tree to a tennis ball to a blender. And you're
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, I didn't know I needed that tennis ball, but I did.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, the
So,
great thing is all the roads with this have led you to Austin, as you shared the story, how everything opened
mhm,
up for you. And the great thing is you're having your album release at a very heritage place right there at
I
Antone's. I think
know.
that's awesome.
Thank you. I'm equally as excited as I am nervous, because I feel like I have to sell it out, and I hope I do, because I want to just honor the venue and this music. But I mean, I was there. Well, I played at the old Antones a couple years, like years ago, actually. And I was sandwiched between Nora Jones and the Punch Brothers. And it might have been one of the more nerve wracking shows of my life, because I was playing the banjo. Um, and Noam Pikelny was playing. He's in the Punch Brothers, like one of the best banjo players on the planet, and I just felt like such an idiot, like playing,
Oh,
like sharing a stage next to that guy. But the new Antones, when I visited here in December of last year, just to visit, because I wanted to see some friends, I hit up Gary Clark, and he asked me if I wanted to sit in on the set. So that was my first time at Antone's. And also, it was my first time singing in front of people all year. I sang one song, "Fall for That," that he played guitar on my record. And I like nearly passed out afterwards. It was just so overwhelming to be up there. And, there's a lot of people in the room, and I hadn't seen a lot of people all year. So Antone's has a special place in my heart. I'm honored to have my record released there.
oh, I think that's just just the story with you coming from LA and all the things you've done with your career, and you're just going to fit in so good. So have you
Thank
been
you,
doing
Helen.
any, have you been playing around in Texas a little or doing some
Yeah.
shows?
Yeah, it's a really funny thing, the last time I made a major move, I was 19 and I moved from New York City to LA. I did a brief year and a half in Nashville in the 2010s. And that never felt like a huge move because I knew so many people there. But when I moved to LA when I was 19, I knew not a one. And it took me like 2 years to have great friendships and like find my people. And it's a tough town for that. It's very tense and desperate. And there's a lot of energy there. And so I had set myself up to be lonely for a while when I moved to Austin because, the only people I know were like Joe Rogan and Gary Clark Jr. And I wasn't going to like get clingy with them, try to hang out all the time. So I just was like, all right, Suze, get ready. You're really going to go in, you're going to read, you're going to exercise. And I couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, like my friend Eric Zapata, who plays guitar with Gary Clark, he's just a wonderful person. I mean, my first week here, he was like, Suze, I got to take you to this show. You got to meet so-and-so and so-and-so. And it was just like one after the next. I mean, the first show my friend took me to at Lambert's, they were doing this like singer-songwriter night. And the host, this local musician, Jason Blum, was like, oh, you're a musician, you want to come up and sing a song? And I was like, yeah. And, and then I sang a song and then they offered me a gig for the, coming weeks. And it's just like, I kept playing. And I mean, going from a complete lockdown to just walking into town and making friends and playing music was like, to say I was shocked is an understatement. Like I kept being like, is this real? This is real. This is real.
It is for real. It is reality in Austin, Texas.
I know.
Yes.
I just feel so lucky. I feel so lucky to be here.
And we have so many great music cities in Texas. Well, I am just so excited for you, and you're such a sunshine, breath of fresh air, and looking forward to see how everything evolves, which I'm sure will be awesome. I'm sure I'm going to be seeing your name everywhere. So thank you so much for taking the time. I feel
God, thanks for having me.
Like, I just can't wait to meet you. I just feel like I got a new friend.
Oh my God, you do. Come to the record release.
I would love to.
Yeah, August 26th.
Yes, that would be awesome. Well, I guess anything else you want to cover or say before I let you go?
Well, I said
look at the cat.
This is Bootsy Collins.
What's your cat's name?
Bootsy Collins.
I see the Bootsy.
She's got little boots.
Yes.
I got her and her adopted sister at the top of 2020, and I had no idea we were headed for a lockdown. I just knew I wanted some animals to love, and it was a lot of pressure to think about getting dogs or a dog because I love all animals. But I just got a bunch of hair in my nose. At the time I was in LA and I would take these yoga classes, and on the way to the yoga class,
I love yoga.
I know, me too. It's really good for you.
Yes.
There was a vet, and they had adopted kittens in the window, and I would always walk and kind of look at them. And then one day I started going in just to play with them, totally innocuous, like, oh, I'm just going to play, and then I'm going to leave. And then I started doing it a lot. And then at one point I was like, I think I got to take these two home with me. And I put in the adoption papers, and the people at the front desk were like, we were wondering when you were going to do that. I mean, you just keep coming in here. You might as well take some home with you. And they're just these great little buddies. I got two really good ones. They travel well, like if I need to go somewhere, they're like cool as a cucumber. So yeah, that was a great parting goodbye as Bootsy wanted to come say hi.
Oh, love it. Bootsy, so cute. Well, thank you for sharing your kitty cats. Well, your babies, actually. All right, before we go, now you're probably like, gosh, is she going to ask me another question to make me think?
No, it's fine. I'm not.
But we always ask this on the Texas Toast podcast. If you were a cocktail, what would you be?
Oh, an old fashioned.
Okay, old fashioned. I can see that. All right. Well, Suzanne, thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
So much. It's been such a pleasure and a joy visiting with you. All
Oh my
right.
God.
Take
Well, you
care
take
and hang
care.
in
Hope
there
to
and
see
we'll
you.
be following you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
And with a heavy tongue, she knew where I was from. As she left, I dared to say, well, you can go to hell. Hell, I'll go to Texas. I've had my fill of every place but home.